I love having you as a pro staff.
I love being a pro staff.
And you do such a great job promoting.
I love to.
Well, and you're so genuine about it, which is really awesome. And I appreciate you sharing it with people.
Thank you. It is my passion to teach people sporting clays, but to guide them along the entire journey, not just to shoot the clay. There's a lot more going on.
Yeah, there is, right? Because it's really like life under a microscope.
Oh yeah.
All the things that a person's personality, their strengths and their weaknesses show up in a competition. Yeah. So you've made my book bestseller on Amazon, I hear.
I love that book. I'm telling you, it's the most tangible thing for me to absorb and go back to, and I'll take notes and I'll take more notes, and there's never something I don't take away from it.
Yeah.
I've read it probably a dozen times, and every time I'm like, oh yeah, I almost overlooked that. And it's always builds the entire journey.
I love it. We were just talking about that, and I was telling her that the free webinar is another good place for people to start, but she loves telling people about the book because you've taken so many notes and you can go back to it, and which is great. So it's cool because not everybody's a reader.
Correct.
Yeah.
But because not everybody's a reader, the webinar is a nice option, and it funnels you right into Miss Dawn on a one-on-one if you need one.
Well, Sarah, actually. But yeah.
Sure.
Free consultation.
Eventually you get to Dawn.
I have like a few. Like we gotta filter them out because only the serious ones go all the way, which is good because those are the ones I want to work with, doing privates and all that. Yeah. So we put together some questions for you.
Okay.
Because here we are at Jack Link's. We're kicking off the 2024 season.
Yes, ma'am.
The weather's beautiful. And you shot at Caribbean Cup.
Yep.
Tell us about that.
So last week was Caribbean Classic at Vero. And I ended up Lady Champion for the FITAS, Lady Champion for the 5-stand, and 3rd overall. And then runner-up to Miss Gianna Santo in the main event.
Nice.
So another one of my Don Grant ladies.
Nice.
It was an awesome event. There was really good targets and a variety of targets. So you'd be like, all right, I'm doing good, And then you're like, uh-oh. Oh, jeez.
Oh, somebody wants to say hi.
Not just somebody. That's the CFO of Jack Link's. Hi, Cash. I'll come find you. I'll come say hi.
How's the pup?
Do you bring your dog? You brought yours? I'll come find you.
Nice.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's good to know people.
It is. He's a good one. I shot FITAS with him here last year. I learned, like I always do, on my journey last year, that when I did the RC Cup, the Caribbean Classic, and then the Jack Link's, I got both physically and mentally exhausted. So for this shoot, I'm happy to be here, but I'm taking it easy. I'm going to take my Caribbean and my RC. I ended up Lady Champion over there after being tied with Ashley in the main event.
That is awesome.
So it's a good start to the Florida swing. I'm feeling good. I'm taking it easy this week, but it's been awesome.
Truly, genuinely, what would you say has contributed to you kicking off the year so strong?
Because I was able to have some time off between nationals and have a couple of minor tournaments, I was able to put into practice some of the things I really wanted to hammer into my pre-shot routine for the season, which it seems like it's working, and I think I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
I've done a much better job in the last year of turning those thoughts into a hum.
Yeah.
So a lot less spikes on the thinking too much and not thinking enough, and I'm doing a much better job to keep it consistently at a more attainable thought process, and not so like pedal to the metal and then let off the gas. It's just like a cruise.
And anybody that knows Grace, like you could see pedal to the metal, right?
Yes.
Like, and everybody's personalities are so different. And so there's so many different things that different people would have to work on. But yeah, you've like tons of energy, pedal to the metal, zipping and zooming every direction. And that isn't only visible on the outside, but that's what would be going on the inside also. So you can imagine then what she's working on to try to quiet the mind and quiet all that chatter and that part of her that wants to like freak out and get hyper and probably in a positive or a negative way, right?
It's excitement. And sometimes it comes out, I have to learn how to trying to say. It comes out not always the way that's the most productive
Yeah.
or efficient. And I've even had people in the last couple of months tell me like, wow, you're like on the golf cart, you know, you're a totally different person. When you step in, it's like go time.
Yeah.
Because that's when I have to flip that switch, turn it into a hum, get your mind right, and it's just you and here.
Yeah.
Nothing's going on behind me.
Yeah. Because it could also, with that kind of energy, like if you're missing targets or things aren't going your way,
Builds on itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like more visible. And that's like, some people think when they're like, oh, well, I never throw my shells or anything, I don't get visibly upset, and they think that means it's okay. But a lot of them are still chewing themselves out in their heads. So somebody who gets visibly upset isn't worse off than someone who's just not showing it.
Correct.
There's still stuff going on.
Doesn't mean it's not happening.
Yeah.
Yes. And I've done a much better job at being like, okay, we need to separate for a second, because I do kind of engulf myself, and my students want to shoot with me, so I worry about their performance. And it's like, I have to be the right kind of selfish.
Yeah.
And just make sure I'm monitoring myself. And I had never been aware of that if it wasn't for the online courses that I've been going through, because awareness is like the first step in fixing it. I never even knew it was that big of a problem.
Yeah, right?
It helps me a lot.
It's so true. And most people are just kind of almost like punching the clock, you know, doing the same thing every day, and not really stopping to assess it and look at like, what can I do different? Like, how can I get better? Like, where was I not my better self?
Yes.
And, you know, and keep evolving. And they're used to doing that with mechanics on some level. Some people still just get pissy about the mechanics, and then they just move on and do the same thing again and again. But it's the same with the mental. Like, if a person has a tendency to overthink things or overanalyze or get stressed out or, you know, visibly angry or whatever, like, those are all things that they can work on. They just haven't really known how to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've been able to relay that information to, I've been doing a lot of volunteering for the SCTP team over at Vero, because they brushed on it slightly when I was in the SCTP program myself, the mental aspect of the game, but I'm telling you, it was slightly, and it wasn't long, and it wasn't deep.
Yeah.
And the coach over there, also Carl Boone, he goes, okay, I'm giving you my 4 elites. I'm giving you my guys that know, and girl, that know how to shoot, but I need you to tap into their brain.
Yeah.
And I wish someone did that to me very early, because it's almost like I had to rewire my brain very early. So instead of rewiring, we're just gonna wire right off the bat these kids' brains to be thinking for themselves and not against themselves, because it's human nature
So big.
to just work against yourself.
Depending on their age, it could already be in their programming. So definitely refer them to some online work.
Oh yes.
Hypnosis possibly.
Oh yes.
So with the Caribbean Classic, how did you overcome, you know, whatever was going on in your mind as you were leading up to being champion?
So I had a couple of pause moments I needed to have, and separation moments, because with my position as pro staff manager with Cesar Greeny, I find that sometimes I spread myself a little too thin.
Oh yeah.
So I made sure that about an hour before it was time to shoot, I stopped, I settled down, had high protein little bite to eat, because I always sometimes get a little hangry if I don't have a good meal. Settled down, no. Sat in the AC, gathered my thoughts. I listened. My favorite hypnosis and audio is the transformation one. It's from the beginning, and it's one of my go-to favorite ones.
Yeah.
I'll listen to it before a round, before bed, really like just before anything that's excites me, kind of calms me down.
Yeah.
So that's one of the ones I'll go to. I listen to it beforehand. I give myself that calm moment. I get to the station 10-15 minutes before to just settle myself into shooting mode. And I caught myself getting into a really awesome rhythm. So I was running stations, and there was this 2 stations in a row, probably the harder stations on the course, the last station and then back around to the first station. And I got a little in my head, had to pull myself out. I started thinking about being scared to miss instead of what's my plan to break this target. And I was really lucky. My sister was out on the course, and I looked at her. She goes, "What's wrong?" I go, I just need Sheba for a second. And she got the absolute best picture of me with my dog. Just taking my mental, it's hard to see on the screen. I called it my emotional support moment. I just needed to go like, Grace, let one target be one target.
Yeah.
Let's move on from this.
Nice.
You know you're more capable of this. You started thinking about that number, seeing those X's and those O's. And I went, all right. And we got right back on track.
That's awesome.
There was literally, in those 2 stations, I dropped 8 targets.
Yeah.
I dropped 13 targets total on the whole course. So after I stopped myself, it was 1 or 2 more targets, and I was like, okay, that's how we know to finish.
I love that.
That's what we know to do.
And the fact that you were able to do it, because there's one thing to know that that's the right thing to do, and I need to get, one target at a time. I need to get myself, back under wraps, but not everybody knows how to do it. And so you going through a training of not only learning information, but implementing it. And then you have to implement it over and over again, because you have to train yourself in these new skills and these new ways of being. And so that's a really great testament to obviously you've been doing the training, but your ability to implement it and get results right away is because of how much you've been doing the skills.
And I'm a proof is in the pudding type of person, so when those moments happen, it encourages me to have more of those moments and make me want to give those moments to other people.
Well, I'm the same way. But there's resistance because some people don't believe in the mental training, or they don't believe in hypnosis, and so I've had to learn to just kind of keep my mouth shut. But people that I care about in my family or my inner circle, and I see them struggling, and I'm like, I want to help you.
I don't want to tell you what to do.
I promise. Yeah. I know. Oh, it's hard. It's almost like you have this golden ticket, or this great information.
It's a superpower. I feel like I have a superpower. I'm really telling you. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never felt like I had that edge. I always knew I could shoot. I knew I could break a target.
Yeah.
And then, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, something would happen to me when that target had a value.
Yeah.
And when there was a number or an X or an O associated to that, I could kill every target in practice. Something would happen. And I've turned that nervousness into excitement, and that excitement into focus.
Nice.
And less fear. It feels like, let's do this instead of let's see how this goes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the best.
I love that. All right. What would you say was your biggest aha moment doing the mental training?
I would say it was realizing that I wasn't scared of my thoughts and I was using them to my advantage. So realizing how important the way that I say things to myself is. So being excited to get out there instead of nervous about how it's going to go is an entirely different look on it. I'm excited to perform instead of being maybe scared to disappoint somebody. It's more, I'm using my thoughts to my advantage now is my main thing. I'm not scared of my thoughts anymore.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to kind of summarize the part of the entire process, it's first you have to be aware that you even have negative thoughts, and most people don't. I can say to them, let's write down some goals, or what kind of things would you like to do differently in life, and let's put them in the positive. And they'll write them still in the negative. They
don't realize they're doing it.
I know. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they don't realize at all. So then I have to help them even become aware that they're doing it. And then let's weed it out. But they're all habits. And how people have conversations is habit, and how they complain about things is habit. So then you got to weed all that and change the way you're thinking about things in your head and communicate into other people. And then it's okay, now that you've done that, now let's start using your mind more efficiently, and doing some things because it's cool when you start using it more efficiently.
It is.
And using your intuition and your guidance, and seeing how different a situation can turn out when you have a more positive mindset. And in shooting, it's turning yourself around.
And that is kind of when it comes to it, you realize you're using it in the outside world too, because I'm less scared of outcomes because of maybe the past or what could or maybe might possibly happen. What if something amazing happens and you're scared of it?
Yeah.
It's just do it. Go for it. Amazing things can happen when you're not scared of what might go wrong. Why not be excited about what could go right? It's crazy how that works.
There's a picture that I used in the online course that's worry is a misuse of your imagination.
Yeah, I think I just
And I
saved
was
that
like,
in my photo.
I loved it when I found that. I was like, holy, because that takes it to a whole nother level, the misuse of your imagination, and then teaching people how to actually use it right. Amazing.
And that's actually what I would say is probably something that I'm looking forward to moving on.
Yeah.
Because to me, this is forever.
Yeah.
This isn't something that, okay, got it. I've finished my course. I've got all of the,
Right.
You're never done. One thing I'm looking forward to is the more consistency in and throughout the entirety of my life.
Yeah.
So not just being like, oh, nice, I used my dawn. No, like always outside when I'm driving. When maybe I get frustrated with my sister because we're living in a 24-foot RV
And
together.
and your sisters.
And we're identical twin sisters.
Yeah.
It just happens. Realizing in the moment, like, okay, I would say outwardly expressing yourself the wrong way. And sometimes I think that my energy does that by accident. So I'm looking forward to maybe not catching myself doing something wrong. Being excited that I went, wow, I handled that way differently than I would have in the
Nice.
past.
Yeah.
In a good way, I try to reflect in the past now rather than being scared of reflecting in the past. And
Yeah.
that has a lot to do with my mental training, because use it to your advantage and then leave.
Yeah.
Don't harp on it. Don't let
Yeah.
it drag you down. Go, okay, I could have done this better, but then do it better the next time.
Exactly.
Don't keep
Like,
saying you're
actually
going to do it
apply
better.
it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's
Yeah.
something I know I need to do a better job of, and I'm aware of it.
Yep.
So when I
First step.
continue to implement it a little more, that's something that I'm really looking forward to in all facets of my life.
Yeah.
I know I'm doing a way better job of it in shooting, but I need to do a better job of it always.
Nice. Well, you're on a roll,
Thanks.
and I believe you're gonna do it.
All thanks to a lot of your help. I'm serious.
Oh, thank
And so I'm a little bit of Sheba.
Oh yeah, Sheba.
This always helps.
Therapy dog. Well, thank you so much.